Hello everybody, I am Zikey and welcome to my aquarium. For those of you who don't know, apart from all my fish, I also have a pet parrot, a cockatiel. His name is Shakespeare, and today I wanted to take a look at some of his feathers underneath a microscope. I just thought it would be interesting to see the structural composition, and cockatiels are known to be rather dusty birds, unfortunately. So I wanted to see if I can see some mites or anything not so fun in there. Yeah. So here I just collected some feathers in a glass petri dish. You can see some of the larger ones and then some small fluff feathers. You know, the fluff feathers would have like larger surface area or just nooks and crannies for some mites to hide in. So I have a variety of samples. Let's take a look. Okay, so as you see on the left-hand side, I have a petri dish cover with a slide on top, just on the petri so it's not in direct contact with the table. And left-hand side, I have the feathers. So I'll try to take the feathers on and place them on the petri dish. And you see, we actually have a lot of fluff, if camera would focus, on the bottom of the feather here, and I think I'll separate that just because in microscope it's gonna be harder to see through multiple layers like that. So there we go, just get that off. Place the feather on top and the fluff part next to it, and I will use two cover slides to cover these actually. The next step is to add water. There are a few reasons for that, which I don't actually know. One of them has to do with the refractive index, whatever that is, but essentially it should somehow minimize the gap between the feathers and the slides, so we can see the layers more properly, or something like that. Let's go. Okay, so I just have a plastic pipette with some water inside, and I'll try to apply it to the feathers. Just a few drops. The water will disperse quite a lot once we add a cover slide to it. There we go, that should be good. And a few drops on the larger feathers. Oof, it seems to be quite tricky on the larger feather. I guess there are oils on the feather making it hydrophobic, so the birds don't get completely soaked in water when they fly in the rain, and it's working to our disadvantage right now. But yeah, just like that. We'll see what happens. Now for the cover slides, I'll just add one of these to each feather. And that was rather unsuccessful, but it should work. We'll make it work. So I have the slide here, and we will just slide it into the base. There's a clip over here, and just like that. Let's go. So although I do have a trinocular microscope, I do not yet have a camera attachment for the third node, the one up here, so I will just be holding my phone camera in front of one of the objectives for now and just giving a walkthrough, see what happens. So I do apologize if this is gonna be a little bit shaky. It will, because I need to hold it super precisely to get any footage. This is the feather on the right, the more fluffy one, and this is at 40x magnification. And if you ask me what we're looking at, I don't know. It's just filaments of the feather, I guess. So moving around now, still the same feather, the more fluffy one on 40x magnification. We can see just how much the water clumped the feather together, so it's not as spread out as it would be when dry. It's pretty cool. This is now at 100x magnification, still the same feather on the right, the more fluffy one. It may be a bit hard to see, but if you look close to the center, you can see tiny droplets of water on the feather strings or feather fragments, actually, which I think is pretty cool. Here we are at 400x magnification, still the same feather, and here you can clearly see the water droplets clinging to the feather fragments. Pretty neat. This is also the highest magnification that the microscope setup I have can go up to without oil immersion. This is now the larger of the two feathers, the one we placed on the left, and this is it under 40x magnification. If you look down at the bottom, there is a thicker black line. That would be the stem of the feather, and then the diagonal lines branching left and right from it, those would be the feathers itself branching from the stem, or the feather fragments. So now I'm just moving it to see if you can find anything cool, or just give you a greater image. Oh, here you can see a water droplet of clumped in the feathers. And yeah, just going around. Here we should see where the feather fell out. And here actually we can, my mechanical stage wouldn't allow me to go any further, but on the very right we can see some of the feather that was not submerged in water and is actually not underneath the slide, just on the right. So just giving us some contrast. Here we can see the same scenario we just saw with the back, but here with the top of the feather. The left-hand side shows the feather unsubmerged, like in the air, not underneath the cover slide. And on the right-hand side, it's in water. And you can actually, it might be a bit hard to see, but you can see the slight difference in focus, where there's no pressure on top of the feather on the left side. Now we are at 100x magnification, and we can see the stem of the feather quite nicely right now, with some different shades in it as well, of more coloration rather than just the dark that we saw before. We travel along, and here I'm gonna travel to the base again, where it broke off, I guess you could say. And yeah, that's where the stem got cut off or fell off. Here, this is one of the only clear pictures I could get off of the 400x magnification, and we can just see some of the longer feather filaments over there. Quite neat. And here we have the same pictures under a green filter that I put into the condenser. Still the same long feather fragments. And here we are now at 100x with the green filter. And it's something I find quite mesmerizing, just looking through feathers with the water droplets, feather fragments with the water droplets under the green filter. And yeah, kind of a last look. Okay, so I think this will be it for the video. I thank you for watching. My apologies for the shakiness again. It's quite difficult to film through a microscope without a proper attachment, but it is what it is. So if it's all choppy, but I thought I should start somewhere. And yeah, thank you.